one like the Son of Man, dressed in a robe with a golden sash wrapped around his chest. So, based on these verses, based on these passages, how would you describe Jesus' return? What the Son of Man is coming on the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days. Who's the Ancient of Days in that? This is a really easy one. Sunday school answer. God. The Ancient of Days is God. So a Son of Man approaches the Ancient of Days, and he's escorted, and this Son of Man is given dominion. So I think it might be a little terrifying. I think it might be also glorious and bright.
Totally awesome.
Yeah, like literally awe, like putting everyone in awe. So, in light of what is going to happen with wars and rumors of wars, signs in the heavens that are reminiscent of the plagues of Egypt, people being deceived, even some believers being deceived, what does Jesus have us do? And Matthew 24, verses 42 through 44 is where he begins teaching practically. Therefore, be alert, since you don't know what day your Lord is coming. But know this, if the homeowner had known what time the thief was coming, he would have stayed alert and not let his house be broken into. This is why you are also to be ready, because the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. So he says, be alert and be ready. What are obstacles to being alert? Yes.
Everything. The world around us, the news.
Children.
Yes.
Children, the world around us. Let's see. For me, selfishness. If I'm just waking up and my child is asking me to do something I am not awake to do, which sometimes I do tell him no, because I just don't want to. I'm not awake for it yet. But so, as I was preparing for this lesson, as I was praying and thinking about this lesson, a question came into my mind that I'm hoping will kind of frame responses that I have just to different situations when it's just me, or it's just me and Izzy, or it's just Izzy, me, and Ethan. Of, would I be okay with Jesus coming back in this moment and finding me doing blank? With the young adults, I teach the young adults about every other week, and they know that one of the things that I struggle with is a temper. God has worked a lot in me over the past 2 years of having a toddler, because every parent will know toddlers will test that temper, but toddlers also don't deserve the wrath of an adult who can't control their emotions. And so do I want Jesus to come back finding me yelling at my son for something that is selfish within me? If he's in danger, absolutely, I will raise my voice and get him out of danger. But we know the difference, right? We know the difference between a rage-filled temper and a disciplinary action. I don't want Jesus to come back finding me in a rage-filled temper against my son or against Ethan, which has happened. Thankfully, not often. He doesn't test it as much as a 2-year-old does.
We as believers, what does help us to be alert?
What does help us to be alert, Mr. Billy?
I feel like as believers, when we read Scripture and meditate and study on it, and we attend church, attend Sunday school, and our pastor preaches all that goes with it,
Yeah. So praying, reading the scriptures, being with the family of God in the church. Right. Well, I think I'm glad you said the thing about reading the scriptures because um, because of what we talked about with many will be deceived by false messiahs. Like when I was reading this, I was just amazed. Like there will be people that come into the world that are claiming to be a messiah, and they won't be immediately committed. Like they won't be seen as insane, but they will be followed. Many will follow them, and there will be multiple. And that blew my mind, just kind of reading that and just like processing what that would look like in real life to see people actually follow after something false. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so if maybe y'all know this, maybe you don't, but do you know how an FBI agent is trained to see a counterfeit bill? They study the real thing. They don't have to look at all the fake things because you can make a million different fake things. They study the real thing until they know the real thing inside and out and say, that little flourish is off, that's a fake bill. And so that's what reading the scriptures does for us. It prepares us to be able to say, that's wrong. Even if a teaching that comes so close to being right, and I'm not going to name certain religions, but right now, because of being live. But there are religions that are so close to that line that they are terrifying at how wrong they are and how much they can be deceitful in that. And it's not even necessarily that they're trying to be deceitful. It's those people really believe that. And so and those people have been deceived. And so it's just this if we are in the scriptures consistently and we can read it and we are able to point out what is real, then we can spot a fake immediately. I feel like teenagers can do this really well. Like teenagers can spot somebody who is being fake with them right off the bat. And y'all tune them out, don't you? Like if you're being, they're not going to listen. If you're not being genuine, they're just not going to listen. And so that's something I love about teenagers. I love student ministry in general. That is neither here nor there for for this lesson. But being in the scriptures, praying while being in the scriptures, praying while doing all of this, and then that's how we prepare ourselves, and then preparing others is we take advantage of every opportunity that God gives us, and being creative in how we share the gospel. I think in my experience, so I don't want to speak for y'all's experience, but in my experience, there have been churches and ministries that have just focused on one way to share the gospel, and I think that's a disservice to anyone who is trying to share the gospel. So any believer, because that method may not work for that person, but being able to look at, okay, maybe this one verse method isn't effective, but what if I draw a picture? Or what if I answer their questions? And some of the greatest apologists are question askers rather than question answerers, and just trying to get to know that person. And so they're able to adapt to what that person might need and be able to share the gospel in a way that meets their heart where it is. One of my favorite things that a friend of mine and pastor said, a while back when I was in college, which is now 10 years ago, next month, and I don't want to believe that. But I know that makes everybody else feel like, oh, well, you're a youngin'. I'm just coming to terms with getting older. But he said that the quickest way to the heart is through a wound. But if we're gonna do it with grace, we have to be gentle with that wound. And so being able to adapt our way of sharing the gospel, sharing that hope, Judy, that you were talking about, that so that we can prepare others, so that when Jesus comes, it's not terrifying, but it's a victory. Because for believers, it's like, finally, this is over. But for non-believers, it's only the beginning. And we have the opportunity and the responsibility to be able to share hope with people who will no longer have hope in that moment. So I'm going to pray, and we'll go next door. Lord, thank you so much that one day you are coming back, and all of the lawlessness, the lovelessness, the just falseness of the world will be gone. Thank you that you win, and that we can trust and hope in that, even when it's hard for us. I pray that you would prepare our hearts and prepare our minds to be able to endure if you come during our time, and if not, being able to prepare our kids and our kids' kids to be able to endure until you come back, Lord. We pray that you would give us the opportunity and wisdom to share the gospel with others who don't know you, and that it would bring them to saving faith in you. In Jesus' name, amen. Have a good week.